Yes, we're live.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thank you for joining us with an episode of the EGUPodcast. You're with Michelle, Reinhardt, and Lisa Ormenessey. Did I get it right, Lisa?
That's right, it's Ormenessey.
Ormenessey, thank you. I did check that earlier. Yes, that's all good. Today, guys and gals, we're here to help you to cultivate the seeds for business as opposed to business leads. So you've got us for 30 minutes. So I would invite you to settle in, turn off your zings and your pings and connect with us. Just make sure you're sitting nice and strong in your chair and you just send down that beautiful grounding cord connecting to heaven and earth and allow us to share some beautiful wisdom with you today. Lisa, wow, what a gift it is to have you with us today. You're a business consultant and an intuitive artist. So before we go any further, welcome to the show and please share a little bit about you with us.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, Michelle. Share a little bit about you. Well, I guess what I do, and I think that's a really great shift between like who you are and what you do. So what I do is I'm a business consultant with Straight Talk Group, and I have business coaching clients and marketing clients. But a couple of years ago, I discovered that I had this gift and it took me surprise. I'm a really logical person and now I'm working in the spiritual and it's been a real journey. So now I, as well as doing my business consultant, I am also doing spiritual artworks where it's people's spirit on a canvas that's channeled. It's really cool.
That's a bit trippy, actually. I'm excited to hear more. I'm very excited to hear more about this because you have been for many years a very successful business consultant. So Can you tell us how and when this spiritual artwork came into your life? Because I'm pretty sure there's a heck of a story here.
Well, there is, and it's an amazing story in the way show it. How spirit just shows up for us and leads us if you're willing to trust it. I decided, Michelle, that I would get myself a 40th birthday present, and that would be art lessons because I had done some charcoals when I was, 10, 11, and I thought, oh, yeah, that might be fun just to hook into that creative part of myself. Well, when I showed up, it wasn't art lessons, it was art therapy. So
Wow. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No accident there.
No accident. So I'm in this room with people that most of them did need therapy and I didn't feel like I fell in that boat, but it was the best thing ever because it really taught me how to draw and create without judgment and to how to drop really quickly into spirit. So I did that 6-week art therapy course. And then that was with pastels. I put my pastels down and thought nothing more of it. Fast forward a couple of years and I'm in Bali and I went and saw a healer there. I just thought, oh, that's something, we're in Ubud and that's like one of the spiritual universes, center of the universe. And I spoke to a healer there and she said to me, you need to get creative again. You need to pull out your art. And it's like, oh, first of all, how did she know? And secondly, that's odd. So when I got home, and this is only about 2 years ago now, when I got home, I took a photograph of of just a beautiful plant. It just spoke to me. And I thought, oh, I'm going to use that same art therapy technique of dropping into spirit to do it. And so I did it and I was super proud of it. And I stuck it up on Facebook and a whole heap of people said to me, wow, I can feel the spirit of Bali. It's like, are you kidding me? And like, yeah, you're tripping there. But as a marketer, I'm like, okay, there might be something in there. So I asked 5 people and they were colleagues. They weren't like friends that I knew would go, oh no, it's wonderful, Liz. So they were a bit removed. And I said, oh, look, send me some photographs because I want to see if there's something in this. Well, be careful what you wish for because I thought I'd just get photographs of people, but no, I got dogs and, the Great Wall of China and all sorts of different things. But every single one of them, Michelle, said, Oh my God. And what I discovered while I was doing it is I was getting sensations, I was getting messages come through. It was like I was channeling this thing. It wasn't me, it was spirit. And I thought, if I'm really going to just test this, I'm going to send everything to them, whether I think logically it's from Lisa or whether I'm pretty sure that it's intuited. And I sent it through and the results were astounding. And so, yeah, almost 2 years on now, I've done that enough times to go, yeah, this is the real deal. It's really exciting.
Wow, that's and good on you for trusting that, because you just chucked your ego aside quite literally and followed your heart, and that's where
there was a lot of ego, Michelle. I had to go, no, don't worry. It really helped to say, this is just for fun. This isn't my full-time career. That helped.
So how have you entwined that into your full-time career?
I think with the spiritual journey has come into my full-time career, not necessarily the artwork. So what I mean by that is I feel I've always been just naturally intuitive. So when I'm working with my clients now, I'm more likely to speak to them from the heart. I'm more likely to say, you know what, I've got an inkling here, and we may dig a little bit deeper, whereas earlier I may not have dug that deep. The other thing I'm really noticing is, and I guess it's the topic of today, is this seeds, not leads, is that the more I'm in tune with myself spiritually, the more things just flow. And that's business as well as with my artwork. I've been picking up lots of commissioned artworks, and I've been picking up a whole heap of new clients.
Okay, and thank you for drawing that distinction, because it's flow, isn't it? It's just allowing yourself to be in flow, to be guided, to be in your heart, and to follow your intuition, your inner guidance, all that is within you.
Absolutely. The big thing for me has been letting go about control. So, we sit there with our KPIs, our key performance indicators. We go, okay, how many new clients do we want this month? Or over the next 6 months, because we work quite deeply with our clients, and, we take them on for the long term, not just an in and out thing. And so how many new clients do we want? It's like, okay, well, it's nice to put a number on that. And then you normally sit down and go, okay, what marketing activities are we now going to do to get those people through the door? Are we going to have a seminar? Are we going to do some calling? Are we going to do a mail campaign? What are we going to do? With spirit, it's like I've said that I want these things, and then I've just let it go. I've been mindful of when, and watch out and be mindful of when the opportunities cross my path, and I haven't had to work for it in a controlled way. I mean, I still have to work, but not, I get a client and I still send them their welcome pack. I still get them to fill out the direct debit form. I still go through that sales process with them, but it's the right person sitting in front of me.
And it's not 100 or even 10 people that you've had to have free sales conversations with to have them as a client.
Absolutely. It's the right person, and there's no struggle. They're just coming in, sitting down, having a chat, and totally getting who I am.
Yeah, I love that so much. So spiritual seeds, not business leads. Now, this is something that you're really, really fine-tuning and very passionate about. Can you talk us into that? How does that play out for you?
Well, as a coach, I've always got a coach, and I was talking to my coach, and it was about I have a commitment coming up. Well, I'm getting married, so I wanted to bring in some extra income, because I don't believe in going into debt for something like that. And I said, I want it to be with grace and ease. And I had been going, okay, if I need to get, X amount of $1,000 in the door, these are the things I can do. And I got into my head, I got into inflammation mode. It's like, okay, we run an art house, Airbnb as well. And we've got fingers in lots of pies. And I was like, okay, well, I can ramp that up and I can do this. And I said, no. And it's like, no, like it has to come with grace and ease. And so I put it out there, and it was, I want this amount of money by this date. I want it to come grace and ease, and I want it to come from my passion projects. And it's just amazing. Yeah. The results, I don't know, I've earned an extra $3,000 this month, which might not sound much, but that's through doing nothing. That's through just putting it out there, right?
Well, again, it's not from doing nothing, but it's from doing a different process, isn't it? It's just by being very clear about what it is that you do want, and then stepping out of the way and allowing it to find you. Yeah,
well, there's just so much more space. Creating space has been a really big thing that I have had in my life as a step to move forward. Whether that be, decluttering the Tupperware cupboard, or getting rid of toxic friends, or in business processes that don't work, technology that doesn't work, cleaning things up. And the more space there is, the more room there is for spirit just to move. Everything is leveraged, Michelle. That I just love that about spirit. So I was asked to speak a couple of weeks ago, and that's when I called you and said, oh my goodness, it's like I've stepped into my purpose, Michelle. That's what that was about. I've done lots of speaking in front of people, and I was asked to talk, and, I just pulled out what I would normally talk, and it's like, no, I have to go with spirit here. And one of the things I talk about is, I guess my journey of being very controlled as a child, then joining the military where they tell you what undies to wear and what toothbrush to again, controlled. And obviously my subconscious on some level when I left didn't think I had enough control in my life, because I was in a domestic violence situation. And I remember the turning point for me, I was sitting on the back steps of a house that should have had a demolition order on it. And you can imagine just being so emotionally exhausted after doing a runner effectively. And so physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. My two small children are, tucked up in their makeshift beds, and it's just really, spirit came to me, just really encouraged me and said, good on you, Lise, you've done it, that kind of thing. And I looked up to my mother who was there, and I said to her, Mum, I've broken the cycle. To which she replied, well, I didn't, so I don't see why you should. And that was a massive turning point. Now I can see it as a gift, because it was that where I said I would never be controlled again. But 15 years on, it's been a massive journey, and there's 3 things that I've always used. One of them has been having a vision board, and even just a vision for your life, because without vision, there's no hope, and we're dead. And the first day was just like, how do I comfort my kids, all of that kind of thing. Now it's like 3 years on, and that's what I feel my art does as well. Like, how hard is it to get your spirit on a vision board? So,
yes.
Yeah, right. And the other thing was about that creating space, creating your environment, which is sort of coming full circle to what we're talking about, is about, environment is way more stronger than will. We can will ourselves to be healthier, but if we put, junk food in our environment, then that we're going to have to really lift our will level up. And it's the same with everything in our life. And I think that my artwork really helps people remember and connect with who they are, and it creates this beautiful environment for them. And, we all have crappy days, and to be able to see your spirit on a canvas and go, oh, that's it. That's who I am. Despite all this trapping dirty stuff I've got from the day, that's truly who I am. And I think that's just so precious. So I don't know how we got there, but I'm just going with spirit and talking to you, Michelle.
Well, what I'm feeling in this, Lisa, is really powerful, because one thing I had to do my time in parallel to your sitting on the back step with your kids tucked in. You know, mine was sitting out on the front nature strip watching someone put a sold sign on my home.
Ouch.
And it broke me with my kids standing there, and I knew then that there's so much more than this hardness, this hardship. And I just set on a hell-bent journey to find it. And the biggest thing, and it's exactly what you're talking about with your artwork, and this is why I find this so fascinating, is that people need to find out who they are energetically.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I totally, yes, I'm totally. And we have those quiet moments, and we say, I do yoga, meditate, and there's all these really good things, but life is so busy sometimes, and what we want, and we have this desire to do that, and we can set up the environment to support us in that. There are just some days where, you can't, or you don't get around to do it, and then we have guilt around it and all these messy feelings, and we know when we sit in nature, or that place where we really feel connected to ourselves in front of the ocean, and you just know where you sit in the universe, and how big you are and how small you are all at the same time, and we lose that with the noise. And
we do.
Yeah, so to have this transference go on, to go, yes, that's my energy, and have that connect, it's a bit of a cheat. I love shortcuts.
Oh, I do too. And I knew always along the way that I wasn't going to do this the hard way. In many ways I have, because we had to do everything on a shoestring. So you can't fast track things necessarily, but you learn what you need to learn, and you're given what you need to know at any point in time if you're listening. The thing that you said when we spoke earlier was to allow what can be a struggle, release your gifts.
Did I say that?
You did. I wrote it down, sweetheart.
That's being in spirit, isn't it? It's about just trusting, and I'm glad that gifted you. And we talk about that struggle. Mine was 15 years, Michelle. There was this stat that I read, and I'm so, in hindsight, I'm so cross that I read it, because how the things seed, and there's this stat that women live in poverty for 10 years after domestic violence, and I'm wow. No way, that's not going to be me. It was, and it's only the last 5 years or so that I consciously created over those 15 years, using the mindset, using the environment, using the space. But I've created what I like to call now my vivalicious life, where, I work as this business consulting, but I'm not, I don't have to go to work at 9 and finish at 5 and go to an office. I can work from home. I can actually work anywhere in the world. Most of the time of the year, I need to be back 4 times a year for my mastermind groups. I get to pursue my passions. I'm playing in a band now, so that whole creative side. I got a man that I love, and my kids have just grown up so healthy. So, all that hard work that we do put in over that time, is none of it's ever wasted. Never wasted.
No, it's not. And it's really important to take all of those things, as you said with your mum, you didn't see what she said as a blessing at the time, but it was one of the biggest blessings of your life. And the beautiful thing is, when we clear something like that in our life, we clear it in our entire lineage. So you've cleared that for your grandparents, that side of thing. You've cleared it for your kids. You've cleared that pattern for everyone. So you've just done an amazing job at that point, in that moment when you had that really strong resolve.
Yes.
But you did something about it. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It's huge. So let's give people some really strong help here. You use the 3 tools. So let's go into those. I know we've touched on them, but we'll go into them a little bit deeper. When you're working with people, you work with vision, mindset, and environment.
Well, that's what I do with my art. When I do business coaching, of course, it's a lot more holistic and we get into the numbers and all the rest of it. But I guess Spirit has just placed it on my heart that they are the 3 tools that I used 15 years ago. And yet, being now successful, living my Bible-licious life, right, I still use those 3 tools.
Wow.
So Spirit gives us tools along the way that we need, which I know that you touched on. But these 3 tools, everyday mindset, knowing who you are as a person and keep touching base with who you are, that no matter what's going on around you, that, you know, encouraging yourself and that you can get through, overcoming. You know, you'll get to a point, I used to say I'm an overcomer, I've changed my language around that now because there's nothing I need to overcome.
Beautiful.
And, you know, it's just, you know, I just move through life with grace and ease. The vision board, you know, often we just get in day-to-day life, and across that 15 years, I've used vision boards consistently. You know, it's not that I did them every 12 months. I would have liked to, but, you know, sometimes it was only every 2 or 3 years, but practically everything's come to pass, and it's okay to change your mind too. There's things that were on those that Spirit then showed me, yeah, no, and they didn't come to pass, but something better showed up.
Yeah, good point there. I agree with that vision. I've never been a big fan of vision boards. I just look at them, and if they don't resonate with me, I just know it's not for me. You've got to have that feeling along with what
your vision board, Michelle. You have to sit there and cut things out and stick things in and spend a whole day with yourself, just checking in exactly where you see yourself, you know, in a year's time. So yes, and then the environment, you know, even with the business owners, I do a business detox with them. So it works in every area of our lives.
So environment, and talk about that, please, the business detox, because this is huge. People are getting held back by not only their own energies, but energies of those around them, those of their past, their habits, their patterns, which are all a part. Yeah, it's all a part of the broader term of environment, because there does come a time where you do, as you said earlier before, you've got to declutter.
And, you know, I always love to go and visit the business that I'm working with. Generally, they come to our office because it's a bit of a precursor to go, you know, can you take time out of your business to actually work on your business? So I get them to come to me. Then we work a lot over the phone, Skype, that type of thing. But I do like to, even if I Google map it, right, see, or send in a third party on my behalf to tell me what the business looks like, because you can tell, you know, how messy people's desks are, whether there's filing everywhere, we're in a workshop, whether there's tools everywhere, in a factory where the occupational health and safety is kind of borderline. And that gives me a really good indication of what's going on in the business.
And in their mind.
And everything rises and falls on the leadership. You know, a business owner can never outgrow their business. It will get to a point and then it will just go back down again. And that's a bit like your gift will go before you, you know, but it's your character that keeps you there. You know, in the last 18 months, when I gave that speak that after I called you and said, oh, you know, I'm on purpose, I looked back at things that had happened for me in the last 18 months, and I'd been on Voice America and the Spiritual Podcast, and been featured in a really popular women's magazine, and it's like, and asked to speak at 2 women's retreats, and it's like, oh my goodness, like I hadn't seen that, and Spirit kind of just opened my eyes when I had to give that talk. It's like, oh my goodness, Spirit has gone before me and opened this up. I hope my character can keep me there.
Yeah, well, it has. It's held you in good stead, because you certainly, I've met when you were living halfway between Melbourne, halfway between Adelaide, you were kind of all over the shop. And we couldn't even get our shit together enough to connect when you were in Melbourne, could we? Yeah, it's just beautiful to see how you have allowed your life to flow with such beautiful.
Absolutely. Michelle, can I just share something that's on my heart about seeds, not leads?
Please.
And this came from another person the other day, and it really was like, yes, and I got so excited. One of the things coming out of poverty, even though I'm not in poverty now, is that, we're really working to get rid of this mindset, right? Yeah. And I was speaking to someone, and, my photographer for the wedding is going to cost me $2,500. Now, some people might think that's cheap, but, I was only budgeting like $900. So it blew out, and I was like a bit anxious about it. And they were saying to me, we need to seed everywhere. So for spirit how can I expect spirit to feed into my life and for people to have an energetic representation of them on their wall that reminds them of who they are, if I'm not prepared in the photography sense to pay for a wedding photographer that's going to have the vibration and the joy of my wedding on my walls? And it's like, what's going on here? And as soon as that clicked, I was like straight away texting the photographer, send me an invoice. I want to pay it all now, because I know by planting that seed, it's going to come back to me. We won't necessarily harvest where we put the seed, but when we do harvest, that seed is, you plant an apple seed, and how many apples do you get? Yeah. So the importance of seeding in other areas, not necessarily where you want to see it, and think about every time you're spending money that where energetically, how am I doing this? Where am I seeding here? Same in your business. If you want great employees, and we're talking about normal people here, not people that may not be mentally well, but seeding into them, you're going to then get great employees. And I just felt like I really needed to share that other realm outside of the seeds, not leads, because it's not just about, okay, what am I going to get? But it's like, where can I plant my seeds? Where am I going to get the best harvest? Where do I feel a little bit blocked, or I get a bit tight in the chest, or heavy, or it plays on my mind about something? It's like, okay, what kind of seeds am I planting in that situation?
Good point. And that's where it comes very important to come back into feeling the energy in that, because if it feels light and bright, it's right.
Oh, I love it. Light and bright and bright.
It is. That feeling, and everybody does if they take the time to just tune in and just feel in their body where, if they're stuck and feeling revolting, then that energy is just not right. It's not going to seed into a positive outcome. Whereas if, as you say, with that, you cleared that very quickly with the photographer. It's like, yep, you know what? This is right. I'm going to pay this. It's done. There's no angst between him thinking, oh my God, should I be rebooking someone else into that time slot? It's all nice and clear, and off you go. The photos will be magnificent. How could they not be with you in them? Let's face it.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's clear. It's joyful. It wasn't just like I had this neutral, I'm going to pay this invoice now. It was like, I want to pay it.
Yes.
Energy. It was great. And is it T. Harv Eker? I think it might be him, because it's either a hell yes or a hell no. So if you can get all those things in your life as a hell yes or a hell no, I just think you know where your heart is.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. You do know where your heart is. And once you start to get really real with yourself, and you start to look behind all of the curtains and the shadows and the shame, blame, guilt, all that sort of rubbish, you get to the truth of it all. And that's when things start to become fun. Because at the end of the day, we are all here for one hell of a journey. And we don't have to be caught up in that stuff, the old patterns anymore. We can just shrug them off, can't we, and just move on.
Absolutely. And when you're prepared to do that, there is pain. There's a lot of truth in that no pain, no gain saying when it comes to spiritual growth, but it's so quick. It can be so quick. And there's that little and then there's breakthrough.
That's exactly right. It's nothing worthwhile is easy, let's face it.
You have to go into that heart space, feel the hurt, feel the pain, feel the betrayal, feel the whatever it was that you experienced at that time to be able to let go.
And it's also important to express the forgiveness around all of that, and then turn into the gifts in the lessons as well with gratitude.
Absolutely.
You know, they're all the high vibrational things, aren't they?
Yes, and now we're getting into the woo-woo.
Yeah. So, Lisa, would you be able to just share a couple of tips maybe that people to develop their spirituality and then flip that into their business?
Taking time out, some space. So if you go for a walk, see that as your spiritual time. So I'm really big on leverage. I mean, as business owners, we have to know about leverage, don't you? So whatever it is that you do in your day that you kind of get some joy from, it could just be, as a woman, it could be cooking. As a guy, it could be, sitting on the train from work or public transport, sticking your headphones in and just taking that time to just connect with you. And when you do feel that part in that little angst, something not going right, to take time to listen to that. Don't just go straight into, this is what I'm learning, not to go straight into the head and go, oh, well, you know, the reason they said this or that, and we go straight into this, let's create this positive affirmation around it. But we have to feel the pain, and we have to listen to our heart before we can then do this mindset switch and reframe for ourselves. Because, you know, I can sit here as much as I can say my arm is not broken, my arm is not broken, my arm isn't broken. But if my arm is broken, I need to put a splint on it, and then I need to go, okay, I heal easily. You know, I can't stay there and go, my arm's not broken. And I think these positive affirmations and stuff, when we go through these experiences and we kind of don't give ourselves permission to hurt and grieve and feel that life sometimes hits us for a sixer, and to go, yeah, that hurt. And I'm going to just sit in that for a bit, and I'm going to acknowledge that it's okay to feel that part of the human experience and sit with it, and then go to, okay, how can I reframe this for myself? How can I move through this? How can I forgive? All of that kind of thing. But if we go from 0 to 3 and we don't do the 1, 2, we're just butting our heads up against the wall.
Yeah, absolutely right. And the truth with lessons is if you don't learn it, it'll keep coming back and hitting you anyway. So just take the time to really truly soften into what's going on around you. Be present.
Yes. Yeah, so that would be a daily tip, to take some space. Of course, one of my tips would be to have a beautiful artwork of your spirit on the walls.
Of course. And where will they find that, Lisa? Let me just pop that link up for everyone that's watching the recording. So you do it. Tell us where people can find you, and what would be the journey of connecting with you for their spiritual energy masterpiece.
Well, it's Vibalicious Art / spiritual journey, which I'm sure you'll have up on the screen there, Michelle. And what I do for you is I will, we can decide what size canvas you want, and then I do the work for you. But what happens is I channel. So I will be texting you, I will be emailing you, I come up with poetry while I'm doing it. There's all different things that happen, and I'm not going to, put a limit on spirit, because different things happen. I mean, last time I was working on a work, I had heart palpitations. This person had anxiety, and I was doing all these mistakes. I was worried about the mistakes I was taking.
Oh.
And I text them and I said, do you have anxiety? And they said, oh, yeah. I said, about mistakes? And they go, yeah. And I just felt Spirit wanted me to say that there are mistakes. I feel that even as the artist, there's mistakes on this painting, but I think Spirit wants you to love it despite your imperfections.
Mm.
So there's all different messages that come through. So people aren't just receiving and purchasing an artwork. They're having a whole channeled customer experience throughout the process. And then we post it to them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and they get to remember who they are and reconnect and re-energize, and it's awesome.
And is it a global opportunity for people to work with you, Lisa? Do you post
Absolutely
worldwide?
Yes, I can post worldwide. There are shipping costs, of course, when we're talking about canvases, but what I can do is I can take them off the back and we can roll them and send them that way. So that works there less. But,
that's perfect.
Yeah, and I have done works for people in other countries, so yeah.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Well, Lisa, as per usual, 30 minutes has gone by in what seems like a heartbeat.
Oops.
So what I'd like to do is just recap for people and just to remind them that our lives have not been a piece of cake. We've had hardships. We've made the decision to sink into our hearts and live from there. And it hasn't been easy, but geez, it's been worth it, hasn't it?
Absolutely, and it's still an ongoing journey.
Oh yeah, I don't ever want to stop. Actually, the more you evolve and start to really live, the better things get.
Absolutely, yeah.
So remember Lisa's 3 tools: have a vision, and work with the mindset to allow that vision to come through. One thing I'd love you to consider with that too is to be kind to yourself with that. Changing habits of your mind. The first thing to yourself when you're speaking to yourself, because you've got to get that space of love and honour. And once you start doing that for yourself, it will begin to be reflected back to you from others around you as well. And of course, take a really good look at your environment. Really important. Have a look at your desk, and if you're cringing at the moment, that's okay, you can fix that. I tidied mine before I got on here because I knew that if I was looking at clutter, I wouldn't be looking at this beautiful time with her. So it's really important to take that into consideration as well. Thank you for connecting with us today. We do invite you to take the easy way into energy and healing and acceleration. Grab a coach, grab onto someone that can help you in your life. Take it the easy way if you can and shift your life and success. Lisa, what a privilege and an honour to spend such beautiful time with you today. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome. It was an honour.
So look into the show notes to connect with Lisa. If you want to speak with me, Michelle Reinhardt, you'll find me in my community at Entrepreneurs Globally Unite on Facebook, or you can catch me at mindsetenergyandhealing.com. And for us, that's it as another wrap for our beautiful podcast. We hope you've enjoyed your time with us, and we look forward to catching you in our community and hopefully at some stage working together. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week and shine bright, because that's why you're here. Thank you, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.